We spent a lot of time talking about fraud and scams and all kinds of stuff, high tech. We had a gentleman on yesterday talking about the latest scam, and latest in the sense that it's the one we're just finding out about, but it's gone on for a while. Not bad enough that, scammers are trying to get your money or your info, whatever. But now they're apparently using the letterhead and logo of the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. The people trying to spot this stuff, and they've lost their credentials. I mean, they're obviously stolen. But people are getting emails, so you think it's from the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center. I bring this up because we're focused so much on high tech, if you will, that we forget the good old-fashioned stuff or the bad old-fashioned stuff that is still happening. So we get an email from a listener to the show. Her name is Suzanne Rosati. She's on the line. She lives out in Lasalle, about something that actually happened. Now, I've heard this anecdotally every now and then you think, well, I'm sure it's just an isolated incident. Well, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but you need to be aware of this. So let's bring you up to date on her story. Suzanne, first of all, thank you for reaching out to us. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Talk about what happened. So start from the beginning. What was going on here? What happened?
Well, it happened on Monday morning, July 1st. My husband was in the driveway. I was sitting on the back gallery, and he said a car pulled up, he thinks a small SUV, black. A woman got out of the car. There was a man in the car driving. She came over to him and handed him some fake jewelry or gold jewelry that it looked like, and very, very quickly said, I have a gift for you. And he held it, she put it right in his hand, and then she said, you have a beautiful chain. And within seconds, she was gone. She actually was able to undo the clasp. This was a thick chain. It wasn't a thin chain. And if she would have tried to grab it off of him, he would have grabbed her. He would have known that he was being robbed. But no, she was gone, and that was it. She turned around, got into the car, and drove away. And then he came in the house and he said, "I was just robbed." I said, "What do you mean?" I saw jewelry in his hand, and he said, "I said, well, you have it in your hand." He said, "No, this is what this woman just gave me. She took my chain." I said, "It can't be." He said, "I'm telling you, she was gone in a matter of seconds, jumped in the car and drove away."
Okay.
It was he was very distraught, I have to say.
I'm sure.
It was from his mom, and it was something he's had for a long time, and he was really, really distraught. And he still is, to tell you the truth. And I just wanted to call to say, a lot of European people, especially, wear gold. They wear it around their neck a lot, and it's expensive gold now, and it's worth a lot of money. So these people are on the lookout. They could have driven by before and seen that he had a chain. I don't know, but just to let the children of these parents to be aware. Don't accept anything from anybody. Just walk away. You don't know if they're armed. We don't know anything. And I mean, he's 81. He wasn't going to start running down the street. And it was just it was so fast.
Okay, I want to stop you for a sec because there's something here I don't understand. Your husband is out in front of the house. What was he doing? Like anything at all? He just happened to
Well, we had just come back from doing a message, and he put the car in the garage, closed the door, and he was just standing outside. It was a nice day.
In the driveway.
It. And then this car pulls up right in front of the house.
Okay. And from what I'm gathering here, this woman who gets out of this truck walks up to your husband and offers him some jewelry?
Yes, she put it in his hand. And he said, she said, "Here, this is a gift for you." And he had no time to say anything. And she said, "Oh, you have a very nice chain." And she took it off of him and took off.
What? I'm
They're
curious.
Professionals.
Yeah,
They're
obviously.
professionals.
What did she end up? Did she give him a chain? I say he was busy looking at the chain.
Oh, yeah, it's a chain and a ring that's worth absolutely zero. It's even stamped. The chain is stamped 18 karat gold. There's no way it is. It was way too huge and too beautiful to be real. It was ridiculous.
So she puts this chain and ring in his hand. He's busy looking at this like, wow, look at this.
Yeah.
And while he's doing that, she manages to unclasp his chain and take off.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
There's no way she would have yanked it. He would have known.
Sure.
He would have felt it. But no, in a second, in a flash.
Okay.
In a flash.
First of all, it's important to alert people to this kind of stuff going on. You live in Lasalle?
Yes.
Have you heard, you talked to neighbors? Did anybody else had something like this happen?
Well, like I told you, my son-in-law, or I don't know if I mentioned it, my son-in-law also, his aunt lives in LaSalle, and a few years back, she was sitting on her balcony. They did the same thing. "I have a gift for you." Stole her chain, and took off.
Okay. You know what? This is kind of crazy. So while you're telling the story, I see our phones are going here, and Brian tells me someone else had the same thing happen to them. Hang on a second, Suzanne. Frank, what happened to you?
Well, it didn't happen to me, but
Oh,
it's not the first time I hear this. It happened to somebody in the East End in St. Leonard. They come on your balcony, you're sitting down, either they've already spotted you or they just drive around, and they go to areas like St. Leonard where, there's ethnics that's where, the older people wear chains.
yeah.
And I know somebody else very close to me. What happened is the lady, they were in a car, there was some people, they asked for directions. It was my godfather put his head like sort of close to the lady
Right.
and gave some information, and she went to hug him, and before you know it, when he got home, his chain was gone. Never felt a thing.
Wow.
These guys are they're like David Copperfield.
Wow. All right, Frank, thank you for that. I'm seeing Brian, you had a couple more. This is crazy. So, Susanna, not that it makes you feel any better, but it is important that people are aware of this. These kinds of people are around, and apparently he said it in St. Leonard. You're in Lasalle, so...
Well, one other thing I can tell you
Yeah.
is we did make a police report, and it came to my attention that my street there's a school zone, so they have cameras on the lamps outside, the street lamps,
Right.
the street lights. Somebody brought that to my attention and said they're placed there by the city to monitor the speed on the street, and the police do have access to these cameras. So if it's happened recently, and we're going to look into it. We went back to the police station and told them, and they said that they have access to it. So, I mean, we're never going to see that chain again, unfortunately. But it makes me nervous when elderly
Sure.
get preyed upon like this. You know, and it's just make
No,
sure
it's
that your
awful.
children the children tell their parents, don't accept anything, and
Okay.
just walk away as fast as you can.
Suzanne, you're not going to believe this. There's another caller, apparently again out in Lasalle. Rebecca, you had the same thing happen to your mom?
It happened to my mom, the same thing, and they went to put the chain in her hand, and my mom threw it on the floor, used some not so nice words, and ran. Told them to get lost. She felt it, and she just took off. She goes, no. She threw the chain and ran. Same thing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Rebecca. I appreciate it. And Mike, same thing to you, to your dad. What happened?
Hi, Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Mike. My dad in Laval in 2020. He was out in the front yard, putting water in his flowers, and the lady came up with another guy. The guy stayed in the car, and the lady came up to him, and she told him, she goes, how are you, and all that, and she just showed him some jewelry, and before you knew it, it was out of his neck, the necklace.
So he lost his too. Same plan. Exactly the same approach.
It didn't even take five seconds.
Wow. Mike, thank you for that. And Suzanne, it's not going to make you feel any better, but you know what? Maybe just alert people to the fact that these people or people like them are driving around doing this kind of stuff. If I'm hearing from just a couple of people, and there are two more people, by the way, on the line, saying same thing happened to them or someone they know. So did police give you an impression that they were going to take this seriously or not?
Well, like he said, I have no description of the people. My husband said she was in maybe her 30s.
Mm-hmm.
She spoke English very well, light brown hair. That's about it. Like
Okay.
how
What
you
can they
can't
do?
even
Sure.
say, "Well, I have the
Yeah.
license plate number," because they just
Yeah.
they're so fast. They're such professionals that they know exactly who to look out for.
Okay.
So
Suzanne,
there's
thank you.
nothing else much we can do. But like I said, just
Make
just
everybody
make the
aware.
elderly be
Yeah.
aware of it.
Suzanne, thanks so much for reaching out. We appreciate it.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
Suzanne Rosati out in Lasalle. And as I said, people now weighing in, saying, same thing happened to me, same thing happened to my father, my mother, etc. If you do, as she said, if you have, relatives, father, mother, uncle, aunt, whatever, elderly especially, make them aware of this. There are people trying to, steal their jewelry. And the interesting part that she described their MO here, they put stuff in your hand first to say, hey, look, I have something for you. Why would you want to deal with anybody who just out of nowhere comes up and wants to give you something? Well, maybe that's why, because they're giving you, they're not taking from you. And the next thing you know, you lose a chain. It's kind of crazy. Be aware. Back away. Take nothing. You don't lose nothing.